Alright, welcome back. We're going to do a quick video here on our T66 versus our T650 and a serviceability standpoint. They're in for service right now. T66, I don't think a lot has changed since we got this back in 2021. I think there's been a few minor changes. Not significant enough probably for a major change, but more of a comparison T66R series versus the M series when it comes to filters and serviceability, access points, and stuff like that. So we're going to go through that real quick and give you some comparisons. Now, for those who follow, both of these machines were on a brush hogging job at the end of the year in November, so we got a lot of grass and stuff in here. We're going to start. I got the oil draining. I'll go over that, but air filters. This is the air filter in the T650 7286322. Pretty small filter. You can see it's pretty well packed with stuff. I've always had problems with filters clogging during the heat of the summer when we are doing any sort of grading. That's the Bobcat filter. This right here is a Napa filter. I'll give you those part numbers. That's the inner Bobcat filter. And this is the Napa filter. That's actually one big difference here. Maybe not. Maybe. Seems like a lot more element in this Napa one. So, to me, this seemed like a small filter. So when they went to the bigger one on the 66, I thought that was a good thing. I'll give you all these numbers that I have from Napa if you're interested. Napa 50730, or I should say 500730. That's the outer air. 501083 is the inner air. In this particular machine, 400395 is the hydraulic. Depending on what model you have, there's a couple different filters for that. And then I have a 400109, and that's the engine oil filter. That's all I've been able to cross so far over to Napa. So, if you're interested. Moving over to the T66. Here's the new filter here, a nice big round, probably about 8 inches wide. But they pack up with a lot of dust. They need some sort of pre-cleaner on them. Let's see this. Let's see how I can get this. You can see all the. This all looks like cotton. It's a lot of freaking dust out of a filter. So that's a big negative, or something that I'm not too happy about. But bigger filter was a plus, but they need some sort of pre-cleaner on it. Moving up here to the inner. Actually, that's pretty dirty. Probably should get a new one of those, huh? The inner filter, again, nice and big, but they clog up. Here's the cap for the inner filter, or for the filter housing. Just fully stuffed with stuff. Stuff does not seem to come out of this very well. It's all mud. A lot of dust. Just a simple tap. So you got to clean that out every time, which kind of sucks. All right, in terms of, actually, before I go any further, part numbers for your filters if you want them. In terms of filter access in the air filter, both are pretty easy. Open up the back door. This one, you just got to pull this off. It just lifts up and comes off. 4 clips, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, pulls out. This one, much bigger housing. Pull this pin out. There's an lock, unlock here. Lock, unlock, twist it, comes off. All right, moving on to the oil changes. T66, I'm gonna show you what I got here. You see I had a little belly pan here. I had to remove 4 15mm bolts. You're probably gonna get a better view of this than I am. Little belly pan comes out. Then there's a hose up top. You gotta fish down and out. It's pretty open in there. It's easy to fish it. Take the cap off, let the oil drain into the pan, just enough hose. very similar. T650. There's a hose laying up in here. Back on the side. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Probably not. You can see the hose just coming out there. Little opening there, 2 bolts, and it comes out. Same thing, hose down to the pan. Let's see if I can pull this hose back up. You gotta kind of bend the hose to get it out, but it works. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but right in my hand. What? No. Just lays in the bottom of the pan. Now, oil filter. One thing that I like Bobcat has done is they tilt their filters slightly back so all the oil drains back out of them. Makes it nice and clean when you want to take them off. And they also include this nice little drip tray. I'll be able to put something small underneath it so I don't drip any oil all over the engine compartment. That'll be nice. So upside down filter. Same thing over here. And this one doesn't have a drip tray, but it's got enough room underneath it where you could totally get something in there. So in my opinion, they're both on the same page of getting filters changed. No big deal. Easy. Okay, now working on this other hose, pulling that back up. A little bit more of a pickle with this one. I don't know, you guys can't really see it probably, but this lighting is terrible. Right there, the really clean looking hose, that's it there. So typically what I'll do is I'll come back. You can see it over in here. There's just a lot of dirt and straw in here. But I can pull it. And I typically do this with 2 hands. You can pull it back just enough. Okay, it's in. But now you got that sticking out into the door, which I don't like. So then I try to get some of this hosing out of my way. A lot of extra hose there, and I'll take it and together, again, working with 2 hands, and this is why you can't see anything. I'm gonna try to pull it straight up, which I got. Okay, cool. Then I just tuck it in there. So it's up out of the elements, clean, or I should say, because those things are kind of really hard to get off. To get those nuts off, it's a tough one. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna tuck all that back in somewhere. I don't even know how this was. Doesn't matter. It's all gonna come out again when I change the fuel filter. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Then he's got these 2 15mm bolts again with this little tray that goes. Oh, my light's blocking everything. Little tray, 2 15mm bolts that go back on the side to close that pan in. I like to take a. Sometimes I'll take a shop vac and a screwdriver and go through here and really clean this. Okay, got that unplugged. I'll try to clean all this. There's a lot of straw in here right now. Flush all this crap right out. It's a job for another time. Keep these machines clean. Alright, with this filter here, I just put a towel underneath it. Most of the oil has drained back out of it, so it shouldn't be a huge deal. Unscrew it, screw the new one on after I oil it up. Alright, getting into the hydraulic filters here. T650. Got to pull this cover off like I got it there. This thing just lifts off. So there's one on this side. Big cartridge filter inside here. So I'm just going to get my flashlight so you can see it. Big adjustable wrench. Let's break that loose. Go nice and slow. Make sure all the oil drains back into from the cap into the housing. That thing's full of oil. Alright, so this filter here's got a little handle on it. You can see that. That's one way to tell what filter you got for the, at least if you're looking for the 650. They got 2 different filters available for this based on when you bought it. Oh, oil. There's a lot of oil going to be on this thing. I got a little catch tray here close by. So I'm not waiting for this. Bam. I got the new filter here. Real simple, just right on in, floating down, all the way seated. There's no seal for this one, no seals included for this cap, but if you had seals, you would definitely be changing them. So this one's all accessible from the back of the engine. The T66 is not. I have to lift the cab for that one. That one's on the back of the firewall. But I have to lift the cab for both. I think. Yes. I have the filter for it. And then just as simple as your hydraulic reservoir right there.
You don't lie to people like that.
One nice thing about the 66 is the electric priming filter housing and assembly versus a manual hand crank pump. So you can hear this thing, I can feel it vibrating away, it's pumping away. It should stop whenever it's fully cooked. Bam. Spin-on filter, pretty big beefy filter. You see my hand here. Big old water separator on the bottom. I couldn't get any drain out of that. But over to this machine here. Much smaller filter. However, this is a different filter now than the new one. They have increased the size of it. But this has got to be loosened up. That's got to be loosened up, I think. Kind of a pain on this one. I actually prefer that one at this point. Alright, so I got the new filter. Holy smokes, I hope this thing fits. Wow! Alright, so here's the filter difference. I don't know how much you can see that. It's got to be double the size on the inside. Let's say this one weighs a lot more, but it's got fuel in it. So this is the newer filter if you don't already have it. 74005. Okay, I'm going to start over with that because I butchered it. 7400454. That's the new filter. Now, this filter compared to that, they're pretty close in size now. Definitely the white filter is a little bit bigger. And has the self-priming pump, which is great. So when you get this filter, you have to get new clamps because those ones are too small to go around it. And yeah, everything else looks like it's the same and should be good to go. I thought I heard something clicking around in there. I might. Maybe it's a float or something. How the hell? Clip it in. Oh, you guys can't even see this probably, can you? Alright, so on this T650, I don't know if you can see that metal housing up there. Little circular looking thing with a nut on it. That's a, I believe they call it a case drain filter, possibly. But it's attached to the fan. So that one you gotta lift the cab up for to get to. That's a cartridge one again. Two different sizes, two different filters for these T650s. So both cabs gotta go up for filters. The 66 is a little easier to unscrew, but it also is a little heavier. This one's got the screws on the inside. Down in there, on both sides, cab comes up, floor stays down. The other one does not. I don't know if this is the case for all the T66s, but this filter here, it appears to be just for the, it's again for the fan. There's a different filter for the 2-speed, which I don't know if the filter is just for the 2-speed or the reversing. My bad. This is a reversing fan, and I don't know if just the reversing fan has a filter on it or not, but something to change every 1,000 hours. New decals. Getting up in here. Had a mud mess in here yesterday, but there's another filter up there, and from what I've looked at, that filter is for the 2-speed travel on the tracks. I got to really do some digging into it to see more details, but that's what I found so far, is that it might be for 2-speed, which I thought was kind of odd. There's the hydraulic filter right here. Two 15mm screws, and you got to get a screwdriver up underneath it, pry it up. It's got two nice big O-rings on it. Another cartridge filter. That one kind of makes a mess. It is, you can't access it from up here, but coming underneath the cab's a little easier for getting your bolts on. But it does make a mess down in the pan. We go through and try to get all the mud out around these tracks. It seems to come in here, block the sight glass. It's hidden behind the track here, which I talked about before. And the same thing on this side. I've had mud all the way up to here before, which definitely not good with the fuse box right there and ECM.
Yeah. Now you listen to what he says. He's got it right!
I like to take a couple times a year and clean out this air conditioning HVAC box. A lot of dust gets in there. You see they cut a hole in this. There was a problem with water draining. Yeah, that's a rag, man.
Not a rag? That's a good shirt.
That's a rag. I like to blow these out and flush these out every year just to make the cab smell a little nicer. And like I said, they had problems with water draining back into filters, cabin filters. So they opened that hole up to hopefully get the water out. It was getting clogged up. All right, wrapping up the video now. I got the T76 in here. I did a service on that. This one's got a little bit less hours, so I didn't have to do as much as the 66, about a 300-hour difference. A lot of stuff's got to get done around 1,000 hours, and quite frankly, we weren't there yet. So one thing that I didn't cover in the other footage, and it's typically the last thing I do, is greasing. One nice thing about these T7, the R series machines, is the grease fittings. All the grease fittings are out towards you. So instead of having going down and looking in here to get a fitting, and you're looking all over the place, you know, you might have one there. They're all face out now, like a Caterpillar. 1, 2, 3. I mean, everything is visible. Now, one disadvantage to that is fittings like this, fittings like that. Close to the track, a lot more dirt gets stuck in them, so you gotta bring a screwdriver with you. Which, to be honest, that pin down there wasn't any different than the other M series machine. You always had to dig it out. There are fittings down on the track. Again, this is just for the 5-link torsion suspension. You're gonna need a screwdriver to dig them out. It's not the end of the world. Cabin air filters. There's one there on the 76. On the 66, there's a cabin filter on each side, 2 of them, same size. This one's only got 1 intake, but this one's got another one behind the seat. Let me roll this seat forward real quick. Right back in there. And that is primarily moving most of the air, so you always have fresh air being cycled around, and they bring a little bit of new air in. So there's that. The doors, I know this is a maintenance video, but the doors on this thing, they don't seem to latch right. And again, we did break the glass on both, so whatever, they need some adjustment. This fitting here particularly, again, that's out where you can get to it from the side. Bam, bam. You know, we're going right through. There's a fitting there. That's for the pin. But the old ones were on the inside, so you'd have to come up, stand in the bucket, reach down in here, grease this way, grease this way, grease this one, grease this one. So a little bit easier to find grease fittings, and you know, I can find them all right. I know where they are, but when I send a guy over here to grease this machine who doesn't have as much experience in maintaining this equipment, I want it to be easy for them to find the fittings, because if it's easy, it'll get done. If it's not easy, it won't get done. So that's that. Anyway, I think that covers most of the stuff in this maintenance section of the video. I like to keep my radiators blown clean, get the dust out of them. That's, you know, that's basic routine maintenance. Not any harder on either machine. So anyway, that's going to wrap up this video. If you got any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not a genius on these things, but I do know quite a bit, and I can do a nice comparison like we just did now. So if you like the video, remember to hit the like button. If you want to see more content about these Bobcat skid steers, go back to my channel, take a look at those, and remember to subscribe to get the latest updates on everything that's going on. And as always, see you in the next one.